guys, Kizzy Bug here. Hopefully I sound a lot better. Just finished up all my antibiotics on Saturday, so I feel like I'm getting a little bit better. Still kind of coughing and having a runny nose and stuffy nose and whatever, but doing much better. Went back to work and all that good stuff, so. Anyway, today I wanted to share my own story about my own disabilities. I want to inspire others to never give up on themselves or their dreams, and to never, ever let their disability define who they are as a person. Because what I have learned through my own journey so far is that my disabilities are only a small fraction of who I am as a person. I am also so very blessed to be surrounded by people in my day-to-day life outside the internet and even online who inspire me. Roasted Studios is one of those people, and another young man and young lady that I follow on Twitter who are also just two amazing people that are so kind and humble. So, here we go. One of the earliest diagnoses I remember getting was being diagnosed as dyslexic at the age of 14. I used to struggle in school so much. Finally, I was diagnosed, and that helped with getting teachers to allow more time for me to get tests done, for example. I want you to know that if a person has dyslexia, it doesn't mean that you are stupid. By the time I hit my early 20s and after the birth of my youngest daughter, I would be diagnosed as bipolar and also with PTSD, and would learn that I had hypothyroid disorder and I was in constant pain all the time. I used to shrug off my pain as maybe being growing pains, because as a teen I was told it was just growing pains and that it would go away. But it didn't, it just got worse. Growing up, I always had pain and horrible headaches. Some things I just attributed to being severely abused as a child at the hands of my stepmother, because as we all know, abuse does damage to victims. Thankfully, one of my best friends who has MS convinced me to go see my doctor, so I did. The doctor I had at the time didn't listen and didn't want to do any testing. So my mother told me to go to her doctor, and he was absolutely amazing. This is where my journey starts into the world of painful testing. One of the first things that was done was blood testing to see if that could tell the doctor anything. One of the things he did notice after checking me monthly was that my CK levels weren't normal, and he said it indicated that something wasn't right. His first impression was that I had a condition called polymyositis, but after more testing was done, which was extremely painful, they were able to rule that out. The testing would go on for 10 years. It was absolutely hell. I can't tell you how hard it was on me, both emotionally and physically, all those years. I wanted answers. I wanted a solution, because I have 3 children who needed their mother to be healthy and who depended on me. It was hard on my kids to see me go through my ups and downs with my condition, and yet I didn't know what to call it. It didn't have a name just yet. No matter how bad I hurt, I did my absolute best to smile and not to cry in front of them, because young children will worry and become very concerned that something bad is going to happen to their parent. So I made it my mission to be as normal as I could for them. I didn't want my babies to be scared or worried. When I turned 33, a rheumatologist officially diagnosed me with fibromyalgia, and in the same month I was diagnosed as type 2 diabetic. While I was happy to have an official diagnosis for the pain I lived with all this time, I was very unhappy about the diabetes diagnosis. To this day, I struggle with trying to get my sugars under control because my weight fluctuates constantly as a result of my thyroid not working properly. But I keep working on this, and I have lost a lot of weight. Yes, I am a fluffy girl, and I couldn't care less what people think about that, because I love who I am as a person, and what matters most is what I think about myself. When I turned 34, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. Sleep apnea tends to go hand in hand with Chiari, but I wouldn't learn I had Chiari for another couple years, and the fact that a lot of Chiarians suffer from both Chiari and sleep apnea. When I was 36, I remember it being hot as heck outside, and it was the end of July of that year. I was watching crochet videos because I was making a blanket for my firstborn grandson. However, I was not feeling good, so I decided to turn off my computer and head to bed. But before I went to bed, I wanted to get a drink of water from the water cooler. I grabbed my glass off my desk and went to the water cooler. I remember filling my cup up, and then everything went black and I collapsed in my kitchen. Not without getting cuts and bruises. It took a while for me to wake up to my husband talking to me. I can hear him talking to me, but I couldn't quite make out what he was saying, and I couldn't see him. It was a scary experience. I lucked out because I had a routine appointment with my doctor the very next day. I explained to her what had happened the night before and showed her my cuts and bruises. She sent me in for an MRI. After 2 weeks of waiting for my MRI report and my image CD, I read that I had Chiari-1 malformation. I remember sitting in my car in the parking lot and sobbing because I knew that couldn't be a good thing. When I went home, I told my husband about the results. Neither of us knew what Chiari was, and we most certainly never heard of it before. So I did what anyone would do at a time like this. I got online and did all I could to learn about my new diagnosis. One of the most awesome websites I found on the subject at hand was conquerchiari.org. To this day, I still love that website. The guy who runs the site also put out a book as a guide for navigating life with this brain illness. After looking around at all the bookstores to purchase it, I have finally gave up and ordered it online from Amazon. I can't wait to read it. One of the first trips I had was to a neurosurgeon. If it wasn't already bad enough to be diagnosed with this illness, I was going to see firsthand how greedy and awful a doctor can be with this neurosurgeon. He had me go in for a more extensive MRI. Before calling me back with the results, we had discussed brain surgery. In my case, it would be a decompression surgery. He said the odds of me going into surgery and coming out fine would be 50-50. So I told him I didn't want to have surgery. One, because I was scared. Who wouldn't be? They were going to be hacking on your brain and your spinal area. 2, I would rather that he just treat the symptoms. It clearly pissed him off that he couldn't convince me to go under the knife so that he can make more money off of someone like me. I didn't care. I wasn't going to do it. To this day, I still remain strong on that decision. He calls back to tell me I have bulging disc in my back and an herniated disc in my neck. And to be a complete jerk, he asked me how my hands felt. And I told him that they go numb. And he said it was a result of the herniated disc. He said the only way I could fix my hands is by having surgery, and then he decides to be smart and say, but you don't want to have surgery. I never went back to him again after that. I do, however, have an amazing neurologist that I see, and he is so caring and compassionate for his patients. He has never tried to talk me into surgery. He takes care of my medications and has me still go in for MRIs every so often to see if there's any difference in things. Last time I went in for an MRI, I had cysts developing on my spine. There's a secondary condition for some with Chiari. I cannot pronounce the proper medical diagnosis for those cysts, but the nickname is called Sphinx. Actually, I have an upcoming MRI this month. My neurologist has said that I have memory loss. He had me do a memory test a couple years back, and that was the result, and he also diagnosed me with attention deficit disorder at that time. I can't focus on diddly without medication. The medication helps me greatly. So with having such a complex medical history, how do I deal with my disabilities and limitations? I am not Superwoman, and I am not perfect by no means, but I can tell you that I put my faith in God. I keep a very positive attitude, and I focus on things that I enjoy. One of the things was finding a job where I could be the kind and caring person that I am without having to be a robot like when I worked in call centers. Best believe I hate call centers, and I hate being on the phone. I love working with others who have disabilities. I love learning about how they deal with their own disabilities. I am always learning something new, and I love it. I have watched countless videos and documentaries on people with disabilities. I understand the bad days as well as the good days because I myself have them. I love the people in my life. I am now 41 years old and at a good place in my life. I surround myself around people who encourage me and who don't mistreat me and make me feel less than I should about myself. I am thankful every day that I wake up and see another day. I don't take anything for granted, not a single day. I know people with Chiari have passed away. Yes, this does happen, sadly. I know I am not promised tomorrow, so I love with all my heart and I put 100% into everything I do. And no, I don't work in a call center anymore. I refuse. I actually stay as active as I can. I am on my feet a lot, but I'm okay with that. If I have moments where I need to sit down and rest, I do. My job has been amazing and has worked with me for any accommodations I might need. I have always felt I had a calling to do something good that makes a difference, and I feel that I am there now. doing just that. With my job, I make a difference every single day. With my channel, I can support and inspire others. I can use my platform to speak to you all about what I am passionate about, such as ending abuse and bringing awareness, supporting people with disabilities, and also to bring awareness to the different disabilities out there, and to just be myself. So that's my story, guys. I don't let any of these disabilities or illnesses define me. I refuse to do that. I would rather educate people and to support people and to say, hey, you can do anything you want to do, and you can put your mind to it as well. Because you can. What's the saying? If you can dream it, you can achieve it. And you can, even if you have limitations. And that's okay. Never let anyone tell you anything different. Believe in yourself, guys. I believe in you. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being my friend and for your love and support of me and my channel. You all rock. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.